Hello and welcome to the Lyman Lipke Bass Guitarcast. I am your host, Lyman Lipke. Welcome. How you doing? I'm wearing the same shirt as last time? Might be 2 times ago, 3 times ago. I don't know at this point because I recorded the episode from July 15th and then basically ate some food, took a break, and now I'm back because I got bass on the mind. But I'm trying to get some guests on the podcast, and those will take precedent over me talking about the bass. Housekeeping. Business, 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 business. Join my secret clubhouse. Not so secret clubhouse. It's not really a secret. First issue went out. That was the first exercise, except on guitar. If you missed out on it, that's okay. I'm going to be cataloging the exercises along with a little bit of a more thorough breakdown on Patreon. It's just $3 a month to sign up. And there'll be a new lick exercise or thing there every 2 weeks as a part of my secret clubhouse. If you don't want to do that, you can sign up for the clubhouse today for free. All I need is your email. Lesson slots available. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do that. Or if you're not following on Spotify, please do that. Housekeeping out of the way. Let's get into the music stuff. As I said last time, I came up as a bass player. I played upright bass, and I did a lot of jazz. I played bass like all different styles: funk, metal, classic rock, country, folk, bluegrass, reggae, all sorts of stuff. And for the longest time, I felt uncomfortable on the guitar. Like, I could play, and I could play all right, but never felt comfortable until about, I want to say 2.5 years ago. That was when I really just started to feel comfortable, finally, with the guitar in my hands. I felt very, very comfortable with the bass in my hands since like 2008. And so last time we went over some simple ideas, like keep the straight wrist. 1, 2, 3, these fingers working together, and like control of the time, and serving the song. Those were the big ideas from last time. So this time I want to get a little bit more in depth. Talk about things to help you get a bass gig. And we can talk about like just getting gigs in general. Or if you're a band leader, let's actually start with that. If you're a band leader and you can't figure out how to get musicians to play with you, you have lost the plot. It is incredibly easy to get musicians to play with you if you have this one simple trick. Other band leaders hate me for having this trick, which I don't employ. Get a gig. Make a product, pitch it to club owners, or anywhere really, and then get a gig on the books. Set it far enough out that you can find musicians. Musicians are notoriously flaky people. So if you find somebody and you're like, oh yeah, let's put something together. Oh yeah, let's do it, and it never happens. Or you find musicians that are just kind of a little bit of whack jobs. Because they'll play with a band that doesn't have a gig. And there are great, like, garage, just hangout bands out there. They're a lot of fun. But not having a gig increases the likelihood of dealing with the more interesting. However, as soon as you get a gig, musicians will come out of the woodwork. Hey, you got a gig? I want a gig. Hire me. So if you have something on the books, you will be more spoiled for choice on the musicians you get to play with. And two instruments that are harder to find than others: bass and drums. So if you're a guitar player, you want to get a gig, play the bass. Let's talk about right hand technique. Seems pretty intuitive. A lot of bass players will put their thumb right here, just hold it there. And that keeps everything steady and stable. And that's how I played for like 15 years. Until I discovered a technique, and you know, like, there's really nothing wrong with that. You can anchor on, there are like three main anchor points, especially on a bass like this. You can anchor on the bridge pickup, the neck pickup, or the neck itself. I have a little bit more room on where I can put my thumb. However, I found a technique from a friend of mine. I mentioned him last time, Todd Johnson. He calls the floating thumb. And since incorporating it, like, it felt very, very weird at first, being an anchorer for so long. But now it's incredibly natural and very, very useful. I will link the video in the description of him breaking it down, because it's his technique. He can explain it a lot better than I can. I got 2 brain cells to my name. But basically, like, quick breakdown how I do it. I just put my hand here, relax everything, and then pull everything up. And then my thumb just sitting on the strings. If I need to play a string, I move the entire mechanism. And usually my left hand is muting the higher strings. I can keep my thumb in a relatively, the same position when I come off the E string. I see especially like a lot of 6-string and 7-string bass players doing the crazy hitchhiker thumb thing, anchoring their thumb, like sort of floating thumb, but with a string anchor. And that's how I anchored a lot of the time as well. But with the floating thumb, you have a natural muting device. It mutes all the strings below. You don't even have to think about it. And your motion for plucking the strings is consistent across all of the strings, all 4 strings, or 5 strings, or 6 strings, or 7 strings. It's much more imperative on a extended range bass when there's a lot of real estate to cover. You gotta make sure everything is muted. Things are ringing out that aren't supposed to be ringing out. That's going to add a lot of mud and undesirable stuff to your mix. Another cool thing about the floating thumb, I can pluck anywhere on the spectrum that I want. And that'll be the next thing I want to talk about. Where you pluck has a big effect on the tone. What harmonics are accentuated and the amplitude of said harmonics. I'm plucking closer to the center of the string. I'm going to get a more pronounced fundamental. So if I want, we talked about this last time, the less length of string that there is, more pronounced the fundamental would be. If you notice, every time I have to move my finger up without moving my right hand, I'm plucking closer to the halfway point on the string. Halfway point of the exposed string from fret to bridge. Right here. I'm plucking right here. Halfway point from the fret to bridge. It's right here. So it's a lot closer to the bridge. And I'm actually over the halfway point here. So I start to bring back some of that high frequency information when I move closer to my finger, because I'm, halfway point is right here, so I reach halfway. Not sure how much you could hear that. Let's see if this helps. And on this string. I'm not sure what it's going to do with the compression and all that on YouTube. But that's something that, I try to be aware of when I'm trying to serve the song. Like, what sort of sound does the song need? I'm not going to play like a... reggae like that right there. The same line I'd probably play, closer to here. Of course, I'm going to mess with the volume and tone. So I turned the bridge pickup down. I turned the tone down to about 2. I'll turn it back up and play that same line the original way. Back to where it was before. Those are the little details that I'm looking for to make the song feel more like the song. We are the salt of the band. We make the food taste more like the food. As far as plucking is concerned, I try not to pluck too hard. And most people will lead with their index finger. I'm actually a middle finger leader. And one technique that I employ all the time is sort of the economy picking concept on the guitar. And that's probably where I got it from, was bass. So if I play middle index, I will rake. I will grab the next string with the same finger, with the last finger I use. Middle index, middle, or strike all that. Middle index, index, middle, middle, index, index, middle. That's part of the economy of motion philosophy. Move as little as possible. Close to the bridge gives you like that sort of Jocko sound. Also, if you turn down your neck pickup a little bit, turn down the tone knob. I haven't practiced that in a while. That's that's one thing you can do to get that Jocko sound. But if you're playing, not Jocko stuff, like there's sometimes where that's useful. That was the bass line I played on an Aretha Franklin cover that one of my old bands did. I'm not thinking too much about my right hand. I try not to play too hard. Let the amp do a lot of the work. If I need something real aggressive, it's not to me about force. It's about velocity. I call this strike through articulation. So I'll just strike my finger through the string. The string is basically making contact with the frets, giving us that sound. I'm still not playing hard, but it's a little bit more aggressive. And that was playing a little bit harder. The action on this bass is relatively low, so if you're gonna play hard, you're gonna need to raise the action. So don't play so hard. You want to play harder. Raise the action. Strike through articulation. That's if you want to use the fingers. I assume most of you are guitar players, so use this thing. I don't need to teach you how to use a pick. That's probably going to be more natural to you than this finger style stuff. One cool thing that I like to do is palm mute and finger pick. So for the audio onlys, I'm thumbing the lower strings and pretty much assigning the first finger to the D string, second finger to the G string, unless I want to play something like that. You can also achieve light muting from the left hand. So I'm not muting anything with the right hand, but I'm letting either my second, third, or fourth finger, sometimes second and third, just hover above the string and give a gentle touch. Problem with that is we basically lose our fourth finger. Man, I wish I had the audacity to record a bass line with like 2 bars of just ghost notes. That's dumb. So, 2 more things I want to talk about. One is probably going to be a lot more exciting than the other, so let's get through the not so exciting thing first before we get into the fun thing. And this might still be exciting. Walking bass. So, generally, jazz walking bass, we have a set of chord changes, and we want to play quarter notes. So the first thing I want to do is usually, like, I want to play the root on the downbeat. You don't always have to, but in new situations, like with new band leaders, if you play the root on the downbeat most of the time, they will like you better than if you put like a third or a fifth on the downbeat too often. So take the changes to Fly Me to the Moon. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. That's the start of our bass line. But when we walk, we want to get from here to here. So one quick way to do that is playing a connecting note on beat 4. A note that gets us from here, that gets us to this note. Diatonic step above, diatonic step below, chromatic step above, chromatic step below, fourth below, fifth above. So I'll play the first 2 chords with all of those. 1, 2, 3 above. 1, 2, 3 below. Chromatic. 1, 2, 3 above. 1, 2, 3 below. Fifth below. Fourth below, sorry. Fifth above. So we can do that with all the changes. Now, all we need to do is fill in beats 2 and 3. We can do that with more fifths and roots. Pretty simple. root, beat 1, connecting note, beat 4, then some combination of roots and fifths on beats 2 and 3. We could also play a triad. So went to the third there. We also do walk-ups. So 1, 2, 3 diatonically, any connecting note. We also do walk downs. That last little bit was basically just a combination of all that stuff. Triads, root, fifth root, connecting note, walk-ups, walk-downs. You're going to have to do it slowly at first. I recommend something like a jazz blues. So I'll play a chorus of jazz blues in C. Be able to do that from all different angles. So, beat 1, root. Beat 4, connecting note. Beats 2 and 3, remaining triad notes, root, fifth root, walk up, walk down. That's quick and dirty intro to walking bass lines. Another thing to think about, and gotten in arguments about this, the notes should probably be long. Somebody told me, like, I can't have you giving people a wrong impression of jazz bass. Find me a recording that was recorded after the advent of steel strings and modern, like, microphones that can actually pick up bass frequencies, that has short notes. And I'll find you 20 recordings, at least, from the same era of notes that are long. If you hear short notes, it's probably because of gut strings or flying fingers or poor microphones. You know those recordings where it sounds like it's a shovel hitting a tent. After steel strings, good microphones, like the bass. Walking bass is mainly long. It's mainly connected. And I am of the belief that it is harder to add length to your notes than it is to take away length from your notes. So if this is like your default quarter note, it's going to be harder to get those notes completely connected. There's probably something screwy in your technique if you're playing your notes short like that consistently. You're either lifting up too soon on your left hand, or your right hand is just getting in the way. So long notes. there's almost no space in between my quarter notes. So there's your intro to walking bass. Let's talk about the fun thing. Slap. I love slap bass. Anytime I can get away with it, I'm going to throw it into a song. I don't get away with it as often as you might think. I really try to put it in if I think it'll add something to the song. Like, we played Kesha, TikTok, with backing tracks. And like the 808 or the synth bass on that, like, I think that might have been in the track. So that would be the thing that I would play. But playing along with the tracks, I found that wasn't too distracting, and it added some energy into the song. And I might be a little biased, but I feel like TikTok was missing slap bass. Let's talk about the technique. Now that we talk about use sparingly. I see a lot of guys do the flea, and that is kind of like you're moving your hand as if you're signaling something is so-so. And it's open. Nothing really wrong with that. I found that once I started incorporating more of the Victor Wooten technique, which is sort of like turning a doorknob, same wrist motion, except my hand is closed and my thumb is pointing more towards the ceiling rather than towards the floor. So I can just bring my thumb down. That's my thump. My slap. The pop. Putting either my index or middle underneath the string. Pulling up so the string strikes the frets. So that's the basic sort of idea for slap. Strike with the thumb, pull with the index or middle. And there's like a third sound, left hand slap. So I sort of divide it into a drum kit where only one thing can be played at a time. We've got kick drum, snare drum, pop, and then hi-hat, which is left-handed slap. So that's a slap groove without any notes. I'm really incorporating the left hand. So get used to that, like treating it like a drum kit. Like this is your hi-hat. Let's talk about another technique that we can use in conjunction with the slap. The double thumb. It took me a long time to figure this out. Once I figured out, after I slap, if my thumb lands on the string below, you come up and use my thumbnail to give the string another strike. It's almost like using a guitar pick. So that's the double thumb. You can also do a double pluck. I haven't mastered that, or close in getting it into a groove, except for this. Down, double thump up, hammer on, pluck, pluck, hammer on. Or down, up, hammer, pluck, pluck. And especially when I think of this as a triplet. Triplet. 1, 2, 3. Triplet. 1, 2. Actually, the triplets here. 1 and triplet. 1 and triplet. Let me turn the microphone off because there's a lot of mic bleed. So I'll do some slap stuff with the microphone off. So that's slap bass. A lot of fun to do. Not the most practical thing to, especially to try to pigeonhole into everything. But if used sparingly, it brings a lot of energy. Like, you can play a regular bass line. Probably easier with the thumb on this one. This is Bruno Mars' Treasure. Just a slap note here or there. Use sparingly. It's late. I don't know when this is going to go up, but when it does, I hope you enjoyed. Secret Clubhouse, sign up, it's free. Patreon for all the rest of the tabs that you missed if you didn't sign up for the Secret Clubhouse. Lesson slots available. Please subscribe on YouTube. Please follow on Spotify. And thank you for listening. I appreciate you, especially if you got to the end. Think about making us your sleeping playlist. Would greatly appreciate that. But it is, as I would say, bread time for me. Bye!